Welcome guys to my creative corner. This is Claudette, where I create projects using inks, stamps, paper, mixed media, embellishment, and a whole lot of joy. If you're new to my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you can be notified when I upload my latest videos. So today I'll be showcasing this Christmas stamp set as well, and this is for Unto Us. It has some beautiful sentiments in it, and I love the fonts, as well as the Evergreen Forest Embossing Folder. So if you're interested in this, please do stick around. So first off, what we're going to need is the base for your card, and this is our Whisper White cardstock, and this is in a thick cardstock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and these products are by Stampin' Up. So this is measured 8.5 by 5.5, and then we're gonna score it down at 4 1/4. But before we score it down the middle, we're gonna go ahead and use our embossing folder. And my tip for that is that you want to emboss before you fold it in half, because the emboss section is the fibers are going to change and it's going to make that section a little shorter. So if I find that when I score it down the middle and emboss, it's not, the two legs don't meet evenly together. So what I'm going to do is just emboss first, and then I'll fold it in half. I'm also going to be bringing in our copper foil paper, and we're going to be embossing that too with the embossing folder. So this is measuring 2.5 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my embossing machine. So this emboss and cut machine is by Stampin' Up, and I did a video with the unboxing and the uses of this, so you could check that video out if you're interested in this. But it's nice that it has the direction on top of the base plate that lets you know how to sandwich your embossing folders as well as your dies. So we're going to use the base of our plate, and then we're going to use our number 4, because this is a 3D embossing folder. So with our embossing folder, we have the Stampin' Up logo right here on this side. So I'm going to open that up on the left side. I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to put it halfway up to the halfway mark. And to get an idea of where the halfway mark is, which is 4 1/4, because you only want your trees to be on the lower bottom. So to get an idea of where our halfway mark is, which is 4 1/4, when we fold the base of our card, we're going to bring in that foil paper. Right there would be 4 1/4. So we're going to close our folder, and then you could get an idea of where your layout is going to be. So this is where the half line would be. So that's how you would like your trees to be, and you could position it how you would like. And then we're going to turn it this way, and then we're going to run that in through our machine. I'll be sending the foil paper and the base of the card through the embossing machine one time. I'm also going to keep that foil paper more to the left hand side of the card. This card that I'm creating today, I'm recreating it from one of the projects that's within the Stampin' Up catalog. The Stampin' Up catalog has many projects that you could recreate. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through our emboss and cut machine. And I am going to go ahead and finish that up off camera, and I shall be back. Okay, so now we take that out of the machine. And this is the designs that we'll have right here. So we did them all at one time, okay? So also you want to be careful with the edge. See, I have a little line right there, but I don't think it's a big of a deal if you put it too much to the, so that edge kind of got embossed there, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold that in half. So you're going to go ahead and make sure your legs are touching like that. Okay, once your legs are touching, you're going to take your bone folder, start there from the middle, and you're going to make your crease over. And then I just flip it over on the other side, to make that crease nice and tight. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to glue this down, and you could match it, line your trees up, okay? And I'm going to take some wet glue, multi-purpose glue, and just add it here. So I'm just going to line it up down here to the edge. And is a continuation of the tree. So you want to match it up with that tree right there. And I'm just going to take my bone folder and run that through that to make sure those grooves get glued down nicely. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to create a sentiment. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of cardstock. And this is in our white. And I'm going to take the sentiment, Hark the Herald Angel Sings. So I will be using cinnamon cider, which is pretty close to a copper color. And this ink pad is one of our new ink colors. We introduce 5 new colors every year, and this is one of our new ones. And this is just a beautiful color, especially for the fall. So I already have my stamp mounted on my block. And we're going to go ahead and use our stitch label dies, and you have oval, squares, and circles, okay? So I'm going to use the second to the last, the second to the largest oval. And what you could do, if you're doing multiple ones, you could put it down here, and then make sure you have enough edges around, because sometimes you may stamp too close to the edge. And then you're going to go here. I like to stamp my sentiment first and then cut them out. Much easier to get it in the center of the circle versus cutting the circle out first and then centering. So I'm going to go ahead and just stamp it right in the middle of that circle. And then what you're going to do next is just take this and then run it through our emboss and cut machine. Okay, so once you run it through your die cutting machine, so you're going to get something like this. So you see, that's beautiful. It has all those stitching around it. So I think this color is pretty close to your copper color. So you could also use copper embossing powder, and it is pretty close to the cinnamon cider ink. So I'm going to be bringing in our card again, and I am going to use the one that I heat emboss with the copper embossing powder. I'm going to take some dimensionals. This is our large dimensionals, and I'm going to put like 4 to the back of that. If you guys are getting any creative value from this video, please go ahead and hit that like button down below. And then we'll just put it just about here. Then, you know, I'm going to bring in some bling, some rhinestones. So this is our champagne rhinestones, and I am going to add some rhinestones. And this is our take your pick tool. It has a little putty there to the end. And I am going to add a couple rhinestones to this card. And then you have 3 sizes here in this rhinestone. And I'm just going to add a little one right there. And then what I'm going to do is stamp a sentiment in the inside. And the sentiment that I'm going to use is sharing with you the glory, wonder, and miracle of this holy season. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in the inside, and I'm going to use our cinnamon cider ink. So when you have a larger stamp like this, I'm just going to put the ink pad upside down and go ahead and ink that up. And we're going to go ahead and stamp this to the center of our card. That came out pretty good. So that was pretty quick and simple, and this is such a beautiful card for the holidays. You could also decorate your envelope to match your card. And I am going to take the Evergreen Forest Embossing Folder. So I'm just going to add it to the flap of our envelope. So I'm going to put it just like this and then run it through your embossing machine. So once you run it through your embossing machine, this is what you get. So you have your envelope to match your card. So guys, get out there and be creative. Thank you guys for tuning in to my Creative Corner. This is Claudette, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.